Welcome to the Cooking Today Show. I'm Alan Gilbreth, and I am here with my fellow Kitchener in crime, Brandon Olmsted.
How are we doing today, Alan?
I'm doing fantastic. We finally get to talk about our favorite topic.
Food.
It is. It is truly our favorite topic.
We talk about it a lot, and the thing is unlike, we're men of ample girth. I'm going to say it like that.
Neither one of us have missed too many meals.
True.
I'll give you that.
But it's amazing how much of our discussions about food have nothing to do with, man, this tasted awesome. Man, I can't wait to have this. It's like, so how would you make ravioli sliders?
Oh, yeah.
Things like that.
Well, welcome to the idea that the kitchen is actually fun.
Oh, the kitchen's always been fun.
And, here's my shocker.
Right.
So, talking about doing this, talking about me and you are going to do this.
Yeah,
we're going to sit down. We're going to start talking about food and the kitchen.
We've been batting this idea back and forth for how many years now?
More than I'm going to confess.
Yeah.
Really. It's been
so it's like your age.
It's more than I'm going to confess. That's right. I have been shocked by the sheer number of people who have just told me the kitchen is a cold, alien place that they dread.
I will admit to having been that person a couple of weeks ago. I'm not anymore, but I wasn't beforehand. But we'll get into that later.
That's true.
I don't understand that. There's this important element. Everybody's place is in the kitchen. If you breathe, if you consume, you need the kitchen. And the kitchen can be so much fun because the kitchen is literally a laboratory in your house.
I love the word you just said, laboratory. So let's talk about the basic kitchen.
Okay.
So what is your absolute bare bone basic kitchen?
Okay, my bare bone kitchen, I have to have a good oven and stovetop. I have to have it. Mm-hmm. I have to have a slow cooker. I prefer to have a deep fryer or an air fryer. I can take either one. I can do magic with both. But I also need an island because I need somewhere to line up all my, my conveyor belt, my assembly line of things. And I was recently in a cabin in the woods and I didn't have all those things, but I had a grill outside. So
okay.
But when it comes to the outside thing, all I need is fire.
It's something to hold it above the fire.
Right. Well, I'm of the age where we were dumb and sometimes we just held things over the fire on sticks.
Yes. Go back to the classic.
Yeah. But one thing that I absolutely do not want in my kitchen, and people are shocked when I say this, is I do not want a microwave anywhere near my kitchen. The microwave is the devil, and I am here to slay it.
Well, outside of maybe baked potatoes and popcorn, I really don't have much of a use for a microwave. Really don't.
Well, yeah, all right, so I can understand that, but I have an old kettle cooker for my popcorn.
Oh, no,
and
you win.
Yeah,
I
win.
There's no comparison between the two. All right, I'm going to take a different stint and
Okay.
go, all right, the most basic of kitchens out there.
Okay.
You need some decent flatware.
True.
Doesn't have to be great, but you need a decent set of flatware so that you've got the appropriate spoons, forks, butter knives, just simple, basic tools.
Yeah.
The other thing I think any basic kitchen needs is a good set of, just plastic storage containers. Not great ones. Doesn't have to be fabulous. Don't need a lot of them, but you need a few.
Okay, I'll agree with that. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're all containers. I do not have any. I don't even have a separator for my silverware. Mm-hmm. It all sits together.
Yeah, just in the drawer.
In the drawer. That's but you got to have something where your measuring cups are set just perfectly. Mm-hmm. And that you can just grab at an instant, and where it is. You know which size you're getting without looking. Because, again, laboratory, experiments, science.
Well, all right, for the and I'm thinking the massive rush of people that have hit me this week.
Yeah.
You just hit a big point. A consistent location in your kitchen for your tools.
Yes.
Other tools you need a decent spatula.
You've got to have a good spatula.
You got to have a good spatula.
And honestly, in my kitchen, I've got 3 of different shapes and sizes depending on what I'm doing. It's like if I'm doing little sausage patties, if I'm doing, a burger, if I'm just, folding over an omelet, I've got 3 different spatulas,
Kind of laid out,
Yeah.
but at least one good spatula. I'm just talking about. So you and I we're gonna go over to somebody's house that does not know how to cook, and we're gonna walk in, and we're gonna need just the barest of utensils to throw down a dinner.
No, because let's talk about this for a second before we go on farther. Have you ever noticed it's the people that cook who have all of the utensils? You go in there and they've got like 27 different, big plastic spoons for stirring things. You don't need all that.
No,
You need one wooden at least, but they've all got plastic.
Yeah.
Love them to death. They're our friends. But I have always been amazed at how many people who don't know how to cook have all this stuff that you don't need to cook.
Right. So, all right. So instead of 300 spoons, you need the 2 or 3 types of spoons that you need a slotted spoon.
Right.
You need a serving spoon.
Yes.
And I recently got completely hooked on the goofiest thing ever, and that is just the rice paddle.
Really?
It is to spoons and serving what the wok is to cooking.
Okay.
It's just this goofy thing that when you get used to it, it fills in everywhere else.
Yes.
But I'm not advocating that for the basic kitchen. But I'm throwing in, if you do wind up with one, you're never going to be without it again.
True.
My
rice cooker came with one, and I mean, it's like, oh, this is okay. You just fall in love with it.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. And of course, you need at least one good set of decent pans.
Yes.
They don't have to be expensive.
No.
They just need to be. And here's the thing. For people that don't really get into cooking, all right, unless you're cooking for a small army, you don't need that big stuff.
No.
Now, if you got 5 or 6 kids, you're cooking in bulk.
Well,
but
typically when I cook for 5 or 6 adults, and so I need even the bigger bulk.
But for the average person, you've rolled in, you need to feed a kid or two, a spouse or two, and, so you don't need huge pots and pans.
True.
And, of course, everybody needs at least one decent frying pan.
Yes.
At least one decent frying pan.
I prefer to have at least, 3 on hand because, I've got a dishwasher, so things go in there and you forget where they're there until it's time to run the dishwasher. But my pots are older than you. We inherited them from my wife's. They were her grandparents. They may have been around longer. Nice metal old pots.
Paul Revere actually made them.
Okay. Love these things. Love these things. But I mean, you need something decent. And, you don't have to buy this big fancy, oh, my God, I can melt cheese in it and it doesn't stick kind of stuff. That's fine if you want it, but in the long run, just something that you can keep hot and flat. Nothing worse than a pan that will not sit flat.
Yeah, at that point, it is time to go.
Yeah.
It's like a Disney song. You need to let it go.
There you go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Of a couple of other things I think people need in their kitchen. You already brought up the stove,
right.
And you already brought up stuff that's not bent, dented, got a hole in it, kind of thing.
Yeah. If your pan has a hole in it, you are eating metal. Stop it.
Yeah. Let it go. Let's get rid of that. Let's talk about knives.
Yes, I just got a new set of knives. I'm very happy with.
All right. Here's the thing: you are much safer with a sharp knife than you are a dull knife.
That is absolutely correct.
So, read the book, watch a video, see how to sharpen your kitchen knife. And everybody pretty much has a set of kitchen knives, either in a block or I hope in a block.
Yes.
There's some people who get the magnetic holders. Those are kind of fun. I like those. Just chucking your knives in a drawer, probably not the best of ideas.
No.
You're dulling the poor things.
They work hard for you. Be nice
They
to
do.
them.
And you don't need giant cleavers.
Well, some of us do.
Well, for the average. I'm talking about just the raw.
Oh, I wasn't talking about cooking.
Basic. I know.
Sometimes you got to run people out of your yard. I live in Memphis.
You just spent a week in the woods. I know. I feel sorry for raccoons and bears anywhere near your cabin.
Those bears
You have recipes.
Those bears ate well.
This is Alan Gilbreth, and I'm here with Brandon Olmsted, and we are the Cooking Today show. And now we're going to wander over to the busy meal.
Oh.
This is where I look at each other. We both have a bad habit. We both work way too much.
That is true. I don't know a day when I'm not busy.
So let's as part of a proper kitchen, I purposely left out the Pyrex cooking dish. Just your good old-fashioned Pyrex casserole bowl.
Everybody has one, and most people don't use it for what it's supposed to be used for.
I don't know what it's supposed to be used for, but mine gets a workout constantly.
Yes.
So let's set the stage. So it's evening.
Okay.
You're rolling in a little late.
Like we do.
Like every day
Traffic
of our
sucks.
lives. Right, so you're come rolling in, and now it is time to throw together a dinner.
Yeah. You can only eat pizza so many times a week.
There's only so many pizza deliveries and that kind of stuff you can do.
Yeah, when they start to call you by your first name at the door.
And no offense, but yes, you can buy any form of food you want on the planet, and you can have it delivered. That's pricey.
Yes.
The budget only takes so much of a hit.
True.
And at some point, that pantry and that refrigerator and that stove need to become a common element.
That pantry is a godsend because you have everything under the sun in there if you have stocked correctly, especially now.
Well, so let's start with stocking correctly. Right. I think that's an awesome place to go. And let's just start with canned veggies.
I'm not a fan, but they're necessary to a busy household.
I'm just kind of throwing out there. This is everyday cooking. This isn't like, okay, we want to go create this very special meal for our visiting dignitary from, a foreign land.
Or like I call it Thursday.
Yeah, well, all right. We're talking about, it is Tuesday night and band practice starts in an hour and a half, and you have this very limited amount of time to hit this goal.
Right.
So, and again, let's just start with, there are an amazing array of canned and frozen products already at your store.
Right.
So let's pick something we think quick, easy, a little imagination.
Okay.
I'll fire off the first one here.
All right.
There are a number of very lovely canned 3-bean medleys.
Okay.
So they'll be like a pinto bean or a black bean or a navy bean, but there'll be 2 or 3 different types in there.
Right.
So it's not just one. It's not just that one pile of something.
Right.
And the one thing I really like to do, just to give it color, is rinse the beans off. They come out of the can. Rinse them off pretty good.
Okay.
And mix them with the can of corn.
Yes. Corn can be the basis for every dish known to man. Anything you have, there's a corn version.
Corn or rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah, but we need a whole hour to talk about rice.
Yeah, well, we've already scheduled that. We've already been hit for that.
We might need 4 hours to talk about rice.
Yep. All right, there are a wide variety of pre-made bread products.
True.
So you can always have, like we all go, you know what, rolling out that dough and making that fresh, insert here, is always better.
Right.
Always better, but there are a number of great products.
One that I will throw in there is, and it's not pre-baked, you still have to bake it. It's the Pillsbury Crescent sheet.
Yes.
It's not cut into the crescent roll shapes already. It is just a flat sheet that rolls out. You can cut it however you want. It only takes a few minutes really to cook at 350, and it complements every meal.
All right. Now, well, hang on to that sheet idea.
Okay.
Because we're going to step that up.
Oh, are we?
We're going to step that up. And this is, again, the busy meal, but this is how to take the ordinary and dress it up slightly. Only takes an extra minute or two,
right,
and you're ready to go.
Okay.
All right. Of whatever your protein is, could be a pork chop, could be some slice of beef, could be chicken. Insert your protein here.
Right.
Since you brought up the dough sheet, and I've already brought up, kind of a corn and bean medley. Here's kind of a really interesting secret. If your household will eat crescent rolls.
Right.
And they'll eat beans or corn, or we all have finicky eaters out there.
That's true.
And ladies and gentlemen,
we do a show with one.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And if as we dive further into this conversation, if you want to send us a question, ask us something, or send us a picture of something you've cooked, you want to share a recipe, you can send it to thecookingtodayshow@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to post it up and or read it on the air and answer your question. So here we go. I'm just going to say, for the sake of argument, we have a piece of pork loin, pork chop, or a piece of beef.
Okay.
If you will go ahead and cut that up into small pieces and just give it a little light stir fry. Add a little seasoning to it, a little garlic, little salt, whatever you to flavor to taste.
Okay.
You now have the making of a spectacular dinner. Because once you have heated and warmed the bean medley with corn, and you have your protein somewhat stir fried over there to the side,
right,
you now have your big sheet of dough.
Your dough.
So now you can begin to create a dinner roll. So what you'll want to do here, and this is just one of these, you'll just experiment once, and once you do it right, you'll come up with 3,000 variations.
That's absolutely true. And we want to hear about all of them.
Spread out, drain and dry your bean and corn medley, spread it out over the dough. Do the same thing with your protein, spread it out evenly over the dough. Get to one corner, roll it up like a giant crescent roll. Put that baby in the oven. The meat's already been cooked. The corn's already been cooked. The beans have already been cooked. All you're doing now is baking the bread. And I believe, within 10 to 15 minutes in the oven, you will have this amazing, flaky, wonderful roll full of anything you wanted to put in it.
Yeah.
And we haven't even mentioned cheese yet. So just as a simple, how to take something really kind of boring and now dress it up a little bit. And to be honest, the whole meal took less than 30 minutes to put together.
And it will feed your people for 2 days.
Well, depending on how many people, because they might get excited.
Oh, no. Because if you've got kids, that first night is going to be a little leery. But then they're going to be asking for it again. It's like, I don't like that. How do you know? You've never tried it.
And that's kind of the other fun thing. I love when people look at me and say, "Oh, I don't like insert item here."
Right.
I don't like Brussels sprouts. Yeah. That's a big one. People, hate tiny little cabbages.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not a fan, but they can be made to be super tasty.
Oh yes. Yes. Stir fried with a little bacon and prosciutto. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And of course, like you brought up earlier, cheese. Cheese can save anything.
It does, and it can. All right. Welcome to the Cooking Today Show. I'm Alan Gilbert. I'm here with Brandon Olmsted. And now we're going to move into prep.
Oh, this can be both fun and intimidating.
Well, let's start at intimidating.
Okay.
I recently had a couple of friends come up here to visit from New Orleans.
Right. One of which was on the show, our other show.
Yeah, well, they'll be in Memphis soon. Just to kind of warn you.
Oh,
yes.
You sold them on the city.
Yeah, there's a comedy route.
You're totally the devil.
Troupe from New Orleans moving to Memphis. So here we go. Now, mark in mind, I did say the words comedy troupe, right?
Improv.
So my friends Scott and Alexis, hi guys, you're getting a shout out of. Here we go around Memphis, and one of the places we went was one of the international markets.
Okay.
And
which are always fun.
All right, for you and I, they're fun. I found out this week while I was getting mugged by an entire mob of people talking about cooking,
right,
that was the single most intimidating building they ever walked in.
How?
Because it's too much. They're just not used to walking in and seeing 10 different kinds of apples, 15 different kinds of oranges. They had no idea that some of this stuff came in different colors. This is like that was news.
These are like those people when the first time you cut open a yellow meated watermelon, they say, that looks bad.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And yet these same people can go into Skechers and see 40,000 pairs of shoes and love every one of them.
Yes. I can't eat shoes. I ain't worried about shoes.
Me neither. I only need one pair, and that's the pair on my feet. Okay, maybe a dress pair as well.
So, all right. So, you know, I'm going to throw out there, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I know we're all busy, and I know we're all swamped, but if you can find 10 minutes of mental fortitude to prep what you want to do next, or better yet, just prep backup of, so you go to the store and they've got bell peppers on sale.
Right.
They're big, they're pretty. They're only going to make it, 2 days, 3 days in the fridge.
Tops.
Then they're going to start wrinkling up, and then you're going to throw them out because you never used them.
Right.
This is where having some plasticware for storage, is a good thing. Go ahead and prep them. Go ahead and cut them down, put them in the freezer.
Right.
This way, if you think later on, halfway through, again, you get home, you're hurried, the kids are hungry, everybody's looking at you. Now you don't have to think, do I have this? Where do I get this? Or what am I going to cook?
Right.
Now, literally, dinner becomes, and I'm going to pick up my favorite clothing line ever. I don't even think they still make them. Do you remember Garanimals?
Yes, and I believe they do.
Okay, well, Garanimals were hilarious in the fact that zebras went with zebras and giraffes went with giraffes. And, all right, guys, welcome to everyday speed cooking. Because, okay, we walked in and we've got a pound of frozen ground beef. But you already cooked it.
Right. Okay.
So you got a pound of ground beef. You got some noodles. You got some mac and cheese lying around. You got to.
If you don't, you ain't got a kitchen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you certainly don't have kids. If you.
Yeah.
All right. So you got a box of mac and cheese. I would even go to the noodles. Let's just go to the box.
Okay.
Whatever brand. So you got a box of mac and cheese sitting there. Well, you got mac and cheese. You got some pre-browned hamburger meat. You got a can of mushrooms. Do the kids like mushrooms? If they don't, do you have a can of some kind of beans they like? That so I mean, anything, you got to kind of think.
Yeah.
All right, how am I going to put this together?
Right.
How long does it make?
This is that moment where corn is everywhere.
Again, you've got we'll just throw in a can of corn or some frozen corn.
Right.
Of instant side. And again, these are things. Plan around what you're really going to eat. I'm going to throw in one of my favorite examples. Admit your lifestyle. Admit your lifestyle. What is it that you actually like? Not what you think you should be eating, but what do you really, really like? Okay, so your family loves Taco Tuesday. Okay, we're down. Kind of prep and plan that. Because the ingredients of Taco Tuesday very easily can be a slightly different dish.
Go on.
I'm going to throw in manicotti shells.
Oh.
Let me tell you, you want to blow some people away? Take your leftovers from Taco Tuesday. You've already got the ground beef. You've already seasoned the meat. You've got your sides. You've got your little refried beans or whatever you did. There is nothing that says you cannot break out that casserole dish because you already prepped all of this yesterday.
Right.
Y'all ate what you were going to eat, but now you got all the leftovers, right? You got the diced up tomatoes, all the fixins
the
that you
shredded
did.
lettuce, you know.
All right. Well, today
You got a half a thing of sour cream that has beans in it somehow.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. We all know how dinner went.
Yeah.
So now let's throw them a right-hand curve. Take everything from last night, but let's not redo tacos. Let's just take some big old fat manicotti noodles. You probably have them sitting in the back of the cabinet now. They're all covered in dust because nobody ever told you what to do with them.
Right.
Stuff that taco meat take the taco meat and the beans and mix them together.
Yeah.
Stuff that into the manicotti shell. Just take your fingers, push it in there.
It's
you got 'em
okay
full.
to get messy, guys.
Oh, you're guaranteed to get messy. All right. Lay them side by side. Add you got a little picante sauce still left over, whatever.
Oh. Especially here in Memphis, Poncho's Tropical dressing.
Oh, that is really good.
Yeah.
Of
Do you want to hear a little secret I've got on that?
yeah.
Go to the Poncho's to go here in Memphis, over on Summer Avenue, and instead of going to Kroger or your big box store and getting your little tub, go into their to-go spot. They have them in actual dressing containers.
Ooh.
Dressing bottles, they've got them in the cooler in there. They're just a few dollars. That is something I have to keep in my house because it accentuates the flavor on anything with a spice.
There's your prep.
There you go.
You got it on hand. You can use it for anything.
Yeah.
So here we've taken everything we prepped yesterday or we had left over. Now we've just kind of changed its form a little bit. We've added a little bit of sauce to it. You will need to put about a quarter cup of water in the bottom of the pan. Cover the dish if it's got a cover, or you put foil over it. Bake 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. The manicotti noodles will be nice and cool, will be nice and soft.
Yeah.
They'll plump up. And now you have a twist on Taco Tuesday can become Noodle Wednesday. And dress with a little, and honestly, while it's nice and hot, you take it out with a spatula, you put it on the plate. Let the kids hit it with whatever toppings they want to hit it with. If you had some leftover guacamole, you got some cheese, the lettuce, the tomatoes, the olives, whatever you got left over, they can throw it on top of the manicotti noodle. Bada boom, bada bing. You've completely transformed pre-prep leftovers into another dinner. And again, we're talking under an hour.
Yeah.
This is the Cooking Today show with Alan Gilbert and Brandon Olmsted. Brandon, we kind of covered a little prep and kind of swapping some leftovers over to a new meal.
Right.
But I want to get into for the really panicky business person, busy person. You got soccer practice, tuba, and karate all happening at the same time. Let's talk about slow cooking.
Oh, my slow cooker is my favorite thing in the entire world.
It's one of the greatest ideas of kind of, and again, this ties into prep.
Yeah.
So this morning, we're thinking about what we could do.
Right.
But I'm going to throw in a twist.
Okay.
Instead of slow cooking all day while you're off at work or something like that, there's nothing that says you can't slow cook the night before while you're doing all of your panicky stuff, taking care of the house.
True.
Absolutely. There's no rule.
There are no rules.
There is no rule that says after you get done with dinner and your evening is calmed down and everybody's doing their homework or everybody's working from home, you can't go ahead and start something cooking for the next 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
And then just turn it off and leave it for tomorrow.
And see, that's one of the greatest things about a slow cooker is that Those tops seal down pretty good while they're cooking.
Yes.
You can just leave it there. Now, if it's something that's got, if for whatever reason it has some sort of dairy, I don't suggest leaving it like sitting on your counter in July in Arizona.
No.
But.
And if you have really large pets,
That's
probably not the best idea to leave food out.
That's true.
While you're not home.
True. One of my favorite things to do is when it comes down to the slow cooker is that I work nights. So I don't really, my days are busy, but it's usually because I'm running around trying to take care of all the things you can't do at night. And of course, since I'm working anyway. So I will come home, I will get my wife off to work, and then I will take about 3 pounds of ground beef and throw it into the slow cooker. And then I'll go to bed. You can do that same thing at night when you're going to bed. You just put it on medium heat. It'll cook through. It'll continue to cook. But the juices themselves will usually continue to keep everything moist without any issue. Then, several hours later, you come by, I'll take just a simple, fork. You can turn that stuff, you can mince it easy, throw whatever else you want in there, and then go about your day. And then come dinner time, it's done. It's ready to go. The slow cooker is an amazing thing because you only have to watch it, like you said, when there are pets around or when the temperature gets a little weird in your neck of the woods. But I just recently did a rigatoni, just like a big pot, and everything cooked itself. I didn't have to add any extra water to the sauce or anything. It all seeped together. And it was a perfect meal. And again, it's something that can be repurposed as we go on. But the slow cooker, it makes anything. I mean, you can make anything in it. And my second favorite deal with that, though, is that we in the Mid-South, we have horrible weather.
We can.
We have horrible weather. It can be gorgeous, and then 5 seconds later, it's a torrential downpour. Then it decides to snow in April. Which makes no sense.
Welcome to the Mid-South.
You want something warm. You can make all-day soups, chicken and dumplings, chili. The crock pots and slow cookers are your friend. And I don't like Instapots, but those will work too.
Yes.
Yeah. But it is a mainstay in my kitchen. It is constantly in use in some way or form or fashion. You made mention about the 3 bean medleys earlier. If you've got a small or a large, it depends on what you need for your family. Put those beans in there when you head to work. Nobody's going to mess with it. By the time you come back, cut up some sausage, throw it in there. Throw in some rice, which we'll talk about on a later date. You got red beans and rice. Boom. Like I said, I swear by my slow cooker.
Well, if you don't have a slow cooker, this is where I'm going to go back to the evening before.
Right.
You got home at 6 or 7 in the evening. Now you've got everybody fed, and now everybody's kind of, now it's time for the huddle breakout.
Right.
So those that have to go back to work from home are getting back on the computers. Those that get to go play games are going to go play games. Now's the perfect next 2 or 3 hours where... And I hate to say it, it takes zero planning to slow cook.
True.
Because, okay, you got that whole chicken in the freezer. It's a whole chicken. Yeah. He's in the freezer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That whole chicken can go
frozen.
Straight into the Pyrex plate, get covered with a little foil, and now he can start cooking for the next 2 or 3 hours. And it will unthaw.
And you don't have to pay attention to it.
And, but you're there and you're awake.
Right.
So, if you don't have a device with a timer, this is just the oven or the stove. And guys, high is not always where you need to cook everything.
No.
Most of the time, especially if you've got time, you can turn that heat down quite a bit, put a lid on it, and it goes. Now,
let's just be honest, guys. Even if you're going, well, I don't want to fall asleep, you're going to be doom scrolling. This is America. You're going to be doom scrolling on your phones for the next 6 hours anyway. I mean, it's just going to happen.
That's true. You're not going straight to bed.
No.
You're not going. That is so true. We are so attached to our devices. So here's the idea. Like everybody in your house likes chicken wings.
God, I hope so.
Everybody in your house likes chicken wings. Well, I mean, wings is kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
Who said you can't pre-cook them tonight and fry them tomorrow?
There you go.
Because if you've got that stock pot and you got a couple of packages of raw wings, well, guess what? Add a little flavor to that water. I'm going to avoid telling you how to make your own spice mix today. And I'm going to say you were at the store. They had a Cajun seasoning. They had a jerk seasoning. They had a grill seasoning. There's all kinds of seasoning mixes already pre-made.
Whatever your flavor.
If you're kind of a fan of the TV shows and you bought somebody's special spice mix, guys, here's the perfect chance to get that flavor all the way through your wings. So get them in the pot, get them covered with some water, get it spiced up, and let that baby sit there and not at a rolling boil, not at a high heat, but at a nice low heat with a cover on it. Let them seep. Yep. And you'll get the flavor through them. They'll be cooked all the way through. There's the big, for people trying to do stuff at home, especially like chicken wings, they can be fried up perfect on the outside, but yet when you hit the bone, it's still red.
Right.
Or it's, you don't feel like you got it cooked all the way.
And that tends to be a major problem. Just, you get somebody's Super Bowl party, you bite into a wing, and it's like,
it's not quite done all the way. Yeah. All right, so I know wing enthusiasts. All right, guys, for your true wing enthusiasts that have got great deep fat fryers and great pressure cookers, don't send me any hate email. Why would you do it? Because we're talking about that person on Thursday night that needs to get everybody fed so they can get back to work or get to practice or get where they need to be. And this is just that busy person. However, I have converted a number of wing enthusiasts with the treat of, think about this. You can pre-flavor the inside of your wings however you want. And now you got a second shot at those wings when you powder coat them with your flavored flour. Now you can go for multiple effects.
It's like a blue
I
pop.
convert a few people. I convert some people of when you kind of like, all right, there's a spice out there called Tarragon that we will get into a lot more later. That is
It's one of your favorites.
It is. It is one of these secret flavor spices nobody at home knows about, but everybody in the restaurant world does. Because that's that flavor you can never replicate at home.
Right.
It's called Tarragon. There's several others, but I'm just going to pick on Tarragon for right now. So this is one where, some Tarragon flakes in that water gets that nice flavor in there. Maybe even add a bay leaf or two, whatever you want to do. And get some flavor into the chicken so that tomorrow, when you're working with the chicken, now all you got to do is get your coating on it, fling it in the fryer, and now as soon as the outside of that chicken is good and golden and looks fabulous, looks like it looks like it does when you go to the restaurant, now you can take it up and you safely know that it's been cooked all the way through. So welcome to the idea of pre-cooking and slow cooking the night before or the day. And there's a lot of meals out there where you can buy really inexpensive cuts of meat that are tougher than shoe leather. But here's the secret. The longer you slow cook it, like a pot roast, the first when you begin cooking a protein, of course, all of the little chains pull together and it gets harder. We've all felt that while we're cooking something. Bacon is a great example. The more you cook bacon, the harder bacon becomes, the smaller it becomes, the tighter it becomes. The little protein chains in it are pulling together. Now, you move up to something like, we'll pick on pot roast again. At a certain point in the cooking, they can't get any tighter. You keep applying heat and moisture, they start going the other way, and your meat begins to fall apart. And that's why Grandma's pot roast, you had to cut it with a spoon.
Yep.
Because she cooked it for 8, 10, 12 hours. She might have cooked it the whole day before and then warmed it up to serve it when y'all came over for Sunday dinner.
That's a good way to spend your Saturday, though. Yeah.
Oh, the house smells so good.
Yeah, and that's the secondary benefit. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter what the day's been like, how well you were able to clean or anything else. When you cook those few hours that night, that smell of chicken stays in the house. And you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do later today. You end up looking forward to it all day long.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
So welcome to slow cooking. Welcome to kind of thinking in advance. And again, I'm going to throw in admit your lifestyle. What do you really honestly want to eat? What do you like to eat? And feel free to send us an email.
Don't listen to anyone who tells you what you need to eat.
Well, if and I'll pick on finicky kids. If you can get the finicky kids to eat, mac and cheese and chicken wings, and they love, there's at least 4 or 5 dishes they love. Well, if you've got those 4 or 5 dishes, you can play off of it and expand that.